Hi friends, this is Krish, the Urban Naxal. Friends, if I were to say everybody wants love, I think nobody will disagree with me. Everybody says yes, that is correct. Everybody wants love. Then if I am to say, very few people actually give love. And you get love from very few people. Again, I think nobody is going to disagree with me. Everybody is going to agree that love is a very scarce commodity. Very scarce. I'm going to say a third thing. I'm going to say everybody wants respect. It's a little bit different from love. Respect is different from love. Again, everybody is going to agree with me. Yes, totally. And if I say, you, the listener, you're not getting as much respect as you deserve from the people around you, I think I'm going to get an agreement from 90-95%, maybe even 100%. Most people will agree with me. So, we all want respect, we want love. We all feel a deficit of love. Now, who am I talking about all this? I am not a fucking religious leader. I am not in the business of saying you become a Christian and you're going to get love from Jesus. And Jesus is going to embrace you with his arms. I am not in the business of saying you come and meditate here and you become one of us. You will become one of this big loving community and you're going to get love. I'm not building a community here. I'm not building a cult. You're not going to start greeting each other in a special way because you're followers of Krishnaraj Rao. Not happening. Right? So we're not going to go down that direction. But there is a problem, or at least there is a perceived problem. Is it a problem? I don't know. Maybe it's just how life is. But let's talk about it because some of it is a problem. It's a problem of communication. Communication means nobody wants to actually talk about what love is. And if you try to talk about what love is, what you expect by way of love, you're going to be ridiculed by everybody if you ask for the kind of love you want. Most people, even if they ask their spouse, their husband or their wife, you know what? I want this kind of love from you. I want you to give me this kind of love. I'm going to make a wild guess here, but I'm telling you this, and I'm not saying this only from my personal experience. I'm saying this because I speak to a lot of people all the time. You're going to get a kind of a rejection response. You're going to be like, your spouse, whoever that may be, she or he may be a good person, but fuck you, yaar, you're not giving me the kind of love I want. Why should I give you the love you want? Or you may not even get this would be a direct response. You may not even get this response. You'll get some ridicule, you'll get some teda reply, something on a tangent. The discussion is going to go wildly wrong. It's going to go off the tracks. You're going to feel there, why did I open my mouth? Why did I talk about this? I didn't want to talk about this. So nobody talks about it. You don't get to learn about this in school. Nobody teaches you this. Nobody teaches you in childhood. Your parents don't want to talk about it. Your parents don't want to talk about what is love. Are you giving love? Are you getting love? What is respect? Everybody is expected to know what is respect. Everybody is expected. Automatically. You are supposed to know what is respect. Respect daddy. Give respect to daddy. So what is give respect to daddy? When daddy says you do this, you do that. Right? That's respect. Daddy says come here, you go there. Daddy says sit, you'll sit. Daddy says listen, you'll listen. That's respect. Obedience is respect. And you call daddy up. You don't say tum. You don't say tu. You say up. That's respect. So you got these little markers of respect. पाँव छुओ, touch the feet, respect, bow down, respect, say namaste to uncle, respect. These are superficial markers. We learn about these superficial markers, behaviors, outward behaviors. That's respect. Is it respect? Is that the only respect? Is that what you want? Is that what makes you feel fulfilled? Because people may be doing that. Namaste uncle ji, namaste uncle ji, namaste auntie ji. They'll be doing this. You may still not feel loud. You may still not feel respected. So, I'm going to sort of unpack this a little bit. And I want to unpack not just the proper parts. There are parts that people are okay talking with. There are parts of love and there are parts of respect that people are completely okay talking with at a social level. And then there are parts of love and respect that nobody wants to talk about. It's so improper. It's so fucking improper. It's so out of the way. It's so dirty. It's so... we don't want to talk about it. We are ashamed. We are ashamed of this. People are ashamed of talking about it. They don't want to talk about it. They can't talk about it. You lose face if you talk about it. I want to talk about that. I want to bring that up. And I want to, you know what? I want to bring that up front, out, into the open. So, what is it about love? What is respect? What is love? What are these two things? Let's talk about it. What do we want? What do you want? What do I want to make my day feel meaningful? What do I want to make me feel fulfilled? Now, some of us may want different things and different levels of things. There are different levels of sexual need. There are different levels of physical need, physicality, the need for physicality, the need for hugs and cuddles and closeness and, the feeling of wanting to hold another person, and there are different levels. It may not seem proper to do this. It is not proper. Societally, it is not proper. You can't just go hugging people. You want to, maybe you want to. Maybe some people want to. Maybe some people don't want to. So there are degrees. The people who want to can't say it. They can't say it. If you start hugging people, अरे यार ये uncle बहुत cheap है. He's a very touchy-feely sort of a guy. So you're going to attract disrespect. This auntie, अरे बहुत cheap है यार, बहुत ऐसे पप्पी चुम्मी करती है ऐसे, she kind of clings to you and she starts kissing you, and so you're going to start attracting that kind of comments. People will disapprove. But is that what you want? Now let's be clear. To a very large extent, I feel we are a touch deprived nation. I don't know. Maybe in some communities people are more touchy-feely, more huggy, more cuddly. I don't know. But I'm going to speak for myself and I'm going to speak about the India I know. I'm not even going to speak about other nations. I don't know what they do in other nations. But I'll say this. I think we are deprived of the human touch. We have become so afraid of sexuality that we are deprived of the human touch. What are we afraid of? I'll tell you what I think we are afraid of. We are afraid of being called a turkey. Guys are afraid of being called turkey. All ages. If you hug somebody, and on the other side, if you hug a male hugging a male, you're afraid of being called gay. You're just afraid of manifesting physical affection for another male because it will be considered a sexual touch or a kind of a sexual touch, a gay touch, a homosexual touch. Some cultures, they seem to do a lot more male kissing. Arabs, I suppose. There are a few cultures. I don't know if what they are doing is satisfying to them, whether it's... But I'll say this much. And I'll speak for myself at least. I'll say there are so many times where I'm not going to hug somebody or I'm not going to put my arm around somebody because I fear that it is going to go down wrong. I would like to do it a lot more times. Like I would maybe multiply whatever I do by 3 or 4 or 5 at least, maybe more. Touch, just touch, like putting your hand on someone's back, putting your arm around someone's shoulder, kissing them. Now these are generally non-sexual activities. You're kissing someone, kissing them on the head, kissing them on the forehead, kissing them on the cheek. It's a non-sexual activity. It's not sex. But damn it all, people are afraid of it. Now why are they afraid? Because they are afraid of a sexual touch, bura touch. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they should be, I don't know. Women are afraid. Now what are women afraid of? I'm going to say it from my perspective. If women say I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. I think from a woman, the touch is so potent for a man. Like if she puts her hand on your hand, her hand on your arm, you might consider it a sexual invitation, and so she is afraid that you might consider it a sexual invitation, and so she is afraid to touch you. And so she doesn't touch you. She wants to give you a hug, but no, she is afraid that you will get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, then you are going to start making her uncomfortable. And it's going to be so off-putting to her. She's afraid of her own reaction to what you might do. There's a lot of thinking ahead there. So she says, I better not touch. That is one thing. A second thing is, she's afraid of how much people will perceive. They will say, this auntie is very hot, yaar. ये किसी को सबको ऐसे हाथ लगाती है. She's very like, she's a hot auntie. She's really horny. So they don't want to be considered that kind of person, and so they keep off. I feel my personal, and these are all my personal opinions. So anybody can say anything in the comment space. Say whatever you want, man. Say whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to delete any comments. Okay. Say whatever the fuck you want. So this is one thing. I feel we are all repressed in our touch behavior, in our hugging, touching behavior. We do not do this because we are inhibited. I'll speak for myself. I think we would do it a lot more with everybody, spouse and others. A lot more, a hell of a lot more. That I think is a big thing. A big thing in loneliness. Remember I talked about loneliness yesterday? I think the lack of touch, the lack of human touch, the lack of human interaction is a big deal. It's a really big deal. In a better world, in a more natural world, I would say there would be a lot more physicality, a lot more hugging, a lot more wrestling even. Why only hugging? It's not only hugging. Guys would be pushing, pulling against each other, wrestling a little bit. There's a lot more physical contact to be had. There's a lot more physicality. It would look more like a schoolyard. Now, we are afraid what the other guy's reaction is going to be. Is he going to be hostile? It goes against dignity. And you know what? I think that is one of the things, one of the critical things around here. We are so caught up in our idea of having dignity that we are all walking around like we are wrapped in cellophane or Teflon or something. You know, we are afraid of our dignity falling down, of our dignity getting hurt. We are afraid of, hey uncle, itna haath mat laga. We are afraid of that. I am. Definitely I am. We are all afraid. So everybody is afraid. So preserving your dignity. Okay, don't touch. Don't reach out. Don't cuddle. Don't talk. Don't talk too much. Don't talk too much. Don't disclose too much. Don't share too much. Don't share. Don't share too much. Don't show your mind. Don't disclose your mind. I think there's a lot there. Starting from your spouse, himself or herself. Starting from there. Including your children. They may be small, they may be grown up. But it's there. It's there. They may be afraid of you, you may be afraid of them. You may be afraid of your grandchildren. They may be afraid of you. They will be afraid of, if I do this, grandpa will get angry. He will reject me. Fear of rejection. We are just afraid. Each and every one of us is afraid of rejection. Chal हट, उतर, ये क्या गोद में बैठती है? हट, go away. Don't sit in my lap. A push, an unaffectionate word, and people feel hurt. Arey, my dignity was hurt. I tried to be affectionate to this guy and he shoved me away. He rejected me. Fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. There's a lot of it. Because it will hurt, it will bruise. Because we are so sensitive to it. We are, in my view, oversensitive to it. We are oversensitive. But that is in the social context. Even in the family context. Family is also a social thing. We are afraid. So this is one thing. Touch behavior. Then there's another thing. There's another thing. Disclosure of your thoughts and disclosure of your life. Disclosure of your life's experiences. Your personal life. Or disclosure of what you have done. Maybe good, maybe bad, maybe right, maybe wrong. Some things it is appropriate to say. Some things. Small number of things. But there's a lot. I'll tell you what I used to feel. I don't feel it anymore, but I used to feel this. I used to feel when I got married at age, I used to feel before I got married. I used to feel starting from when I was in the 12th standard or around there, till the time I was at least 40 or 45, I used to feel the urge to want to be heard. I used to feel like there has to be a witness to my life. That someone needs to hear what I have to say about my own life and how it went. How did it go? How was your childhood? What was your childhood experience? How was your youth? So what would have been a romantic partner or a romantic day for me? You know what? What it would have been? A perfect day? A perfect day would have been me and my sweetheart sitting maybe on a beach, maybe on a mountain, maybe some nice place, maybe in a hotel room, just holding hands and talking, just sharing our life's stories, free flow. Sometimes, now what is sharing? Sharing is always, there has to be an element of mutuality, mutual respect, lot of interest in each other, a willingness to listen. Listen gently, non-judgmentally, just listen. But not like a fucking counselor, not like a psychiatrist. That's not listen. Not with the idea of dissecting your brain and saying, Tera hai na, tera yahi problem hai. You are like this only. I know, you are a turkey. You are always fucking going around, you're trying to thrust your penis into every female you met. No, not like that. Not like that. Listen, just non-judgmentally, caringly, lovingly listen. Hear. Share the experience. Maybe the guy wants to laugh. Maybe the guy wants to cry. Maybe the guy wants to be sad. Maybe the guy wants to be angry. Maybe the guy feels, or the lady feels, मेरे टीचर ने मुझे ऐसे बोला. She shouldn't have said that. But this is what she did. And she said it. And I'm so angry and I'm so wounded. There are incidents from your childhood. There are incidents from your youth. There are definitely incidents from my childhood and my youth. Some of the things I feel angry with myself. Some of the things I feel angry and wronged by others. I've let it go. I'm not holding it like a grudge. I don't hate that person anymore. But there were those experiences I wanted to share. I would have loved to share. You know what? What a perfect, romantic, ideal day or 2 days or a holiday would have been. Generally, to have a person, a friend, could be a girl, could be a guy even. Could be a guy even. Why not? Doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be romantic. Just talk and talk. I have had some, by the way, I have a friend and we have done some of this in the days of our youth. I have a very close friend, a Muslim, and we have shared like this, sitting on a mountainside, not eating for the whole day, just sitting there talking. And it really is one of the highlights of my youth. It is really one of the highlights of my life, some of that. But what would be an ideal day with your spouse, with your wife, with your husband or your girlfriend? Would be just sit, talk, share. Be heard, have a witness. You know, there's this song, जो हमने दास्तां अपनी सुनाई आप क्यों रोए. So, you know, there's this empathy. I told my story and you wept. Why did you weep? So there's this empathy, there's this soft touch, the healing touch. The idea that someone is a witness to your thoughts, to your craziest thoughts, to your dirtiest thoughts, to your filthiest thoughts, to the most unacceptable thoughts that you may have. That someone who loves you is a witness to you. You hold her close, she holds you close. You talk, she talks, she also shares. She shares openly, she doesn't hold back. She just lets it go. She's not afraid of your judgment, you're not afraid of her judgment, you're not judging each other. It's like two rabbits, two bunnies snuggling together. But we in general are like two porcupines snuggling together. Your quills will hurt each other all the time. And that's how life is. I'm Krish, the Urban Naxal. Jai Maharashtra, Jai Hind, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.